Hello everyone, it's Nina and welcome back to my channel. Today is going to be a very exciting video because in like 4 days, we are going to be going to New York City to spend a long weekend there. And I thought I would bring you along with me and do like a little vlog of our time when we're in the city. I don't think I'll be doing a lot of like talking to the camera while we are actually there because we are going to be staying with my sibling-in-law and I don't really want her or any of her roommates like perceiving me when I'm trying to film. But I thought I could run through what we're going to be doing with you guys now. And I think I'll also do a pack with me of some of the stuff I'm going to be bringing. The main reason we're actually going on this trip is because we are going to be seeing a Broadway play, which is Glengarry Glen Ross, which I didn't know anything about. To be honest, don't really even know now what the plot of the play is. But the main reason we're going to see it is because Bob Odenkirk, who plays Saul in Breaking Bad, is going to be the lead actor in it. And not only him, but 2 other Better Call Saul actors are also in it. And then there's also Kieran Culkin, who I know all the like Succession girlies are really obsessed with, but he's probably the least important member of the main cast. That's a draw for me. Anyway, we're literally going to go see this play because of how obsessed me and my wife are with Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. And my sibling-in-law also really loves those shows. So me and my wife are going with her to see it. But actually also while we are there, it is going to be National Indie Bookstore Day. But also while we are there, we are going to be walking around Brooklyn and checking out a couple different indie bookstores that I've had my eye on. I thought I would actually go through my like Google Maps list of the bookstores that we're going to check out now. The first one is one I mentioned previously wanting to go to in January, and that is the Ripped Bodice. They have 2 locations, one in LA and one in New York. I'm pretty sure the New York one only opened up in the last like 2 or 3 years, but it is a bookstore completely dedicated to romance books, which is obviously a genre that I really like. And at least for me, I find it pretty hard to find a lot of specifically queer romance books in the indie bookstores around my area. So I thought going to a designated romance bookstore would give me a higher chance of finding that type of book. 2 of the bookstores that we may or may not go to is the Greenlight Bookstore, as well as the Center for Fiction. They're both around the like Barclays Center area of Brooklyn, and we've been to both of them on previous visits to New York City. I don't know if we'll end up going up that area specifically to check them out again, but they are on my list as ones that I have bought things from in the past. Another bookstore that I had not even heard about until like maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago is the Non-Binarian Bookstore, that obviously with a name like that focuses on queer literature. And I've had really good luck looking at specifically queer-only bookstores in the past. So if we end up going in the general area where it is, I probably will want to have us stop there so I can check it out. And then there's 2 other bookstores that I'm not 100% sure we're going to end up making it to. The first one is Powerhouse on 8th, as well as Unnameable Books. Just kind of ones that are all in the general, like, Prospect Park area of Brooklyn. The only other concrete plans that we have is on Friday, we definitely are going to be going in the Fabric District for the majority of the day while my sibling-in-law is still working. We are going to go into Manhattan to check out some of the fabric stores there. Truly, we do not need to buy any more fabric because if you haven't heard, Joann Fabrics, which is a very big fabric chain across the US, recently went like fully bankrupt and is like closing all of their stores. So we've gotten like a lot of surplus fabric for very cheap by going back when they've had like exponentially growing sales and discounts on everything they have there. But there are still a couple things that we do need for projects that are coming up that I did not find when we were at Joann's. So we are going to have to look for them in either New York City's Fabric District or the Fabric District in our city. And the other thing, which I probably won't end up vlogging, is that we have a friend that's having a party on Saturday night. So we're probably going to separate from my sibling-in-law then. And me and my wife will go to their party. And then on Sunday, we will just like take the Amtrak back home. So that is our plan for this long weekend. I'm really excited to show you guys what we end up getting up to, all the places we end up eating, all the bookstores we end up checking out. And I probably will do a little wrap up when I come back next weekend to show you all the books I end up getting when I'm in New York. So with that all said and done, let's get into packing everything for this trip. So here's the layout I have right now for everything I'm going to be packing for New York. I'm not 100% sure what bag I'm taking yet. I might be able to fit this all into my backpack, but then I also might share it with my wife's carry-on. All of my main clothes are stored in this. I have this jewelry case, which is pretty empty right now, but I have some space in here to also probably share with my wife. I have most of my toiletries here, which are already packed up, as well as one of my eyeshadow palettes. I'm probably going to take my Kobo, which is in this case that I made. All of my like underwear and socks and pajamas are in here. I have a little bit more space in this, which I'm going to put my pajamas in as well. And then I have this little pouch that has the rest of my makeup in it. So yeah, for the most part, this is pretty much set up for our trip. So it's now the next weekend after we came back from New York City. So I thought I would give you a little wrap up and also show you a book haul of the stuff that we got while we were there. Overall, this trip was just really nice and definitely a good break from all the stress that I've been dealing with at work and in my personal life. I don't think there was like a single time during the trip where I felt bad or like worried or stressed out about anything. We also stayed at my sibling-in-law and their roommate's apartment in Brooklyn, and it was just really nice. All of them collectively have a really good sense of style, that there were honestly quite a few things I'm kind of like filing in the back of my mind as stuff for us to eventually get to redecorate. But let's go ahead and talk about some of the stuff that we did. First of all, as I mentioned in the intro, we specifically went to New York so that we could see the Broadway play that Bob Odenkirk was in, which was Glengarry Glen Ross. This is my playbill from the show. I honestly need to figure out a good, playbill storage solution, because I do have some other ones from both Broadway shows and, local shows that I need, a binder or something to store them in. So definitely a storage solution I need to look into. Overall, I thought the play was pretty good. There were honestly a couple weird racist jokes that I was a little bit uncomfortable with, especially also when other people in the audience were laughing at them. But I thought the cast was really good. I actually was really impressed with Kieran Culkin, who I guess was the maybe most famous of the actors in the list, but I wasn't really familiar with him. I also thought Bill Burr was really funny. Bob Odenkirk obviously was really, really cute. Definitely a lot of Saul energy in the character that he was playing. It also said in the playbill that this is actually his favorite play, so I just thought that was very cute. Anyway, now let's move on to all of the bookstores that we went to and talk about the books that we ended up picking up. I think there was a purchase made at all of the 4 bookstores that we went to, although some of them was from my sibling-in-law who got books, so I'm just going to show you what me and my wife picked up. We also went during Independent Bookstore Day, and there was actually this Brooklyn bookstore crawl that I think had been going on for the week prior leading up to Independent Bookstore Day. So we went to 3 of the bookstores that were on this list, as well as the Ripped Bodice. The first bookstore we went to was Greenlight Bookstore, and my sibling-in-law picked up some stuff there. And after that, right down the street is Center for Fiction. And while we were there, my wife ended up deciding to pick up Last to Leave the Room by Caitlin Starling. This is a book I definitely have seen before. I'm pretty sure it was a Illumicrate Evernight subscription book from maybe last year or the year before. And I previously know Caitlin Starling because I did read The Death of Jane Lawrence, which was a book I kind of had middle of the road feelings about. But I am very interested in seeing what this book is like. I think my wife picked it up because the cover really drew her in, and she is into this kind of more weird horror, so hopefully she will enjoy this book, and I probably also will eventually check it out if she ends up liking it. Then we went to the Ripped Bodice, which was in an area of Brooklyn I had never been to before, but it was really, really cute. There was a ton of really interesting shops as we walked down 5th Street to get to the Ripped Bodice that I definitely will go back to that area in the future and check out more of them. We'd already had lunch by the time we went over there, but there were a bunch of interesting restaurants that I definitely want to check out in the future. Anyway, when I was in the Ripped Bodice, I immediately went to the queer romance section, which definitely was good and had some books that I definitely was not expecting to see there. But it was overall a pretty small section of the bookstore. I don't really know if they just put all of the queer books in one section and there's absolutely none in the other categories in the bookstore. I didn't really super heavily peruse the fantasy romance section to see if there was any queer books there, or the historical romance section. It did seem for the most part all of the queer historical romances were in the queer section. Anyway, from that section I ended up picking up 2 books, both of which were ones that were on my list as potential books to get during this trip. The first one was Don't Want You Like a Best Friend by Emma Albin. This book I read last year. I gave it 5 stars. I thought it was so cute. And it's definitely a book I could see my wife also enjoying. I keep saying to her that we should cosplay Beth and Gwen, just because we kind of already look like them from the cover. But yes, very excited to finally have this in my collection. The other book I ended up picking up there was The Secret Lives of Country Gentlemen by KJ Charles. There actually was a bunch of KJ Charles books in the queer section there. I'm pretty sure the entirety of the Will Darling series and some of her other indie published books were there. If they had The Magpie Lord, I also would have picked that up, but they didn't, and this one was one of the books that was on my list to get. I read this book last year as well, and I gave it 4 stars. But since I read the second book in the series, and gave that one 4.5 stars and really, really liked it, I thought I would actually go back and eventually reread this one. I think probably on that reread, I might even have a more enjoyable time and possibly give it a higher rating. So I figured for those reasons, I did want to add it to my collection. So yes, very, very excited to have this. I also wanted to point out, if you can see, that the receipts from the Ripped Bodice are on pink receipt paper, which is just so cute. And I did get one final thing while we were there. This was a little bit of an impulse buy at the end. I kind of tangentially knew that they had a lot of really cute, exclusive Ripped Bodice themed pins. There was one that's kind of 2 halves of a best friends or broken heart locket. And one of them you can only get at Brooklyn and the other one you can only get in LA. So that way if you go to both of their locations, you can complete the full heart. And I thought that one was really cute, but I don't really have any plans to go to LA literally anytime in the next like 5 years. So I figured I would skip out on that one. So if I ever end up going to LA, I will try to go to the ripped bodice and get the half of the heart that's there, and eventually get the other half that's available in Brooklyn. Anyway, to make a long story longer, I ended up picking up this pin instead, which I feel like given my sensibilities and the fact that I already do love corsets, this is like a perfect pin for me. It literally is like a ripped bodice with like the lacing coming out. Obviously, being like related to the name The Ripped Bodice, it's really cute. My wife also really liked this pin and was saying that I should try and like recreate the corset that's in the pin design. Although I already have previously sewn a like hot pink corset in a similar-ish design. Anyway, I thought this was really cute. Definitely going to go on the pin board that's in my little reading nook. I mean, let me talk really quickly about the last book we got from the final bookstore from our little trip, which was Unnameable Books. This one was a little bit of a impulse decision to go to. We just happened to be walking in its general direction, and I had it saved on my like Google Maps as an option for us to go to. This bookstore has a good mix of new and used books. I'm pretty sure this one was one of the new books, and it is Math Real by Eugenia Chang. My wife picked this one up. She's a very big fan of more like unconventional nonfiction, and also ones that dive deep on like one specific topic that might be a little more esoteric and strange. And she's also very much more of a like STEM-focused person compared to me. So hopefully she will enjoy this book. I'm pretty sure the entire time we were there, she was finding other books that she was interested in, but then was very smartly checking on Libby and Hoopla to see if she could listen to the audiobooks instead of getting them physically first. But I'm pretty sure both these books were not ones that were available through our library system, which is the reason why she ended up deciding to pick them up physically. Anyway, this is a little look at the books we picked up during our trip to New York City. And with that all said and done, we are now at the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this style of vlog. And if you guys enjoyed this video, consider liking, commenting, or subscribing if you aren't already. Consider following me on the Storygraph if you'd like to see my reading updates in real time, as well as my Bookstagram, which is linked in the description. And that is going to be it for me today. I hope you guys all have a wonderful day, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye!